The cup betting is certainly picking up a bit of pace now, and at this stage it's still equal favourites. Sky Heights and Ethereal at about $7 down here, and one down the bottom, Spirit of Westbury, Peter Donegan's been kept very, very safe.
I would think so, because of its ability to handle the ground and certainly its ability to be able to handle the distance. Tim, let's have a look at the tote figures for the third. Tricked at big odds, Life Goes On, $6.10. Shelley's Magic has opened up the favourite, and you can see what a wide open race it is when it's come up at $5.80. Carpalure $8.30 and Granita number 8 at $12, the best of those on that page. Over the page we go, Hidden Honey at $12, Miss Magari number 11, $5.90, much better value in Queensland and New South Wales. And the same applies to number 12, and that is Ocean Tide. Big odds about the other ones. There are the selections. I've gone for Life Goes On, as Simon Marshall has. Granita from Jenny, Carpalua from Johnny Letts, Roadhouse Blues from Dan Malicki, and Miss Magari from Gary Willett. So plenty to report as far as selections are concerned. Now, the late scratchings. Let's bring you up to date with the track having been downgraded. From race 5, take out number 3, Oh Can He Go, and number 9, Calhoun. 3 and 9 out of race 5. And then we move on to the 9th event, and number 14, Noble Challenge, is a late scratching. So race 5, 3 and 9, race 9, number 14. And gentlemen, I wouldn't be at all surprised if we see a few other scratchings throughout the day. Just looking forward to the Melbourne Cup. If you back Carpstad Way now, I don't think I'd be terribly happy.
You'd be a little bit disappointed, Pete. He really wanted a good track to perform at his best, and he's not going to get that today. What
we might do, Johnny, throughout the day too, is we'll look at the horses that have got wet track form and the horses that haven't got wet track form in the lead up to the Melbourne Cup, because then it becomes all important.
Very important, Peter, and it must be disappointing, though, for Chris Wood. You know, all that year, you prepare all the year, and you get to the races and this happens. And it just, well, who's to say he can't win anyway, but we know that he doesn't like it. Well, if he comes out and wins, we'll say, well, he does like it, but he doesn't like it, and, well, miracles have happened before, but it doesn't help him very much, does it?
No, it doesn't indeed. Let's head down for the presentation now after the running of the second event, and the sponsor's representative from Peters is Chris White.
Thank you, Peter. Chairman, Committee of the VRC, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Nestle Peters, makers of Drumstick, Moments of Indulgence, I hope you're all enjoying drumsticks out there, even though the weather's not so good. Let me assure you they taste just as good in the rain as they do in the sun. Anyway, on behalf of Nestle Peters, I'd like to congratulate the owners of Cool Trend. The owners are Winning Connections. Sam Lawson is collecting on behalf.
Well done. Yes, Sam Lawson accepting the trophy. Well done to Dean Lawson. The next race is the third. It is the Singapore Challenge, and the scheduled starting time is 11:55. Well, from the comfort and relative warmth of the studio, it's time for you to get on banjo, Mr. Letts.
Thank you, Simon.
Aren't you glad you're not doing the horseback interviews today?
Giddy up, Lettsy. I'll be watching from the Crown Marquee. I'll give you a wave.
Thanks, Simon. Yeah, well, don't get wet, but Pete, can you ride?
I can, but you're doing it.
Thank you.
And I'm heading down to the mounting yard to join Jenny Chapman. Thanks for being with us in the early part of the day. Time to hand you over to the marquee, where it might be wet, but I'm sure they're still happy. Here's a lady who's always happy. Sandra Sully again. Good morning to you, Sandy.
Good morning, everyone. It's only a little bit damp, but as you know, Peter, nothing can dampen the enthusiasm of Melbourne Cup Day. And it's great to be back here at Flemington today for a fabulous day of racing. And of course, the big one, the Tui's new Melbourne Cup. So it's going to be very, very exciting. We, as always, have sensational fashion and glamour celebrities to meet. We'll be catching up with all our favourite Neighbours stars. We have Sibylla Budd and Spencer McLaren from The Secret Life of Us. We'll be catching up with the cast of Singing in the Rain, and the internationally acclaimed author and former jumps jockey and former jockey to Her Majesty the Queen and the Queen Mother, Dick Francis, so that's going to be very exciting. We're looking forward to that. We shall also be crossing, Peter and Jenny, to Sammy Lucas at the Regent Hotel. You know, in Sydney today, the Variety Club Cup Luncheon in Sydney is the largest cup luncheon outside Melbourne Cup. So we're looking forward to catching up with Sammy Lucas there for a great cause and loads of fun. We're going to be having an absolute ball today. This is the centre of the well, this is really the social capital of Melbourne this week. And as all Australians are in party mode, one man who never misses the beat, if you know what I mean, nowhere more so in Melbourne, is our very own Mark Aister.
Thank you very much, Sandra. As you can clearly see, I am enjoying myself tonight. This is my first stop. I've got a couple of places to go. We're currently at the Sofitel. This is the annual ball, and it's held in conjunction with the Variety Club, raising money for very special children. Why don't we go in and have a chat to a couple of these good folk? Look who we've caught up with out in the foyer. It's Blair.
How are you?
Very well indeed. What are you laughing at?
Oh, you know, just a bit strange coming here and having light shone in your face, I guess.
Have you been drinking?
No, not at all, not yet.
Fair enough.
Maybe one.
Now, very quickly, Melbourne Cup tomorrow, your tip?
I'm going for rain gauge, actually, because the weather's going to be pretty similar, I believe. So just going to stick with the flow and see how it goes.
Well, we need 2 tips from Mike Larkin, Channel 10's weatherman. First of all, a tip for the race, Mike, and also a tip for the weather.
Well, as it's the night before and about 10 millimetres of rain is forecast, I'm a weatherman. I've got to tip rain gauge. But remembering it's a forecast, not a promise, I like my money on Persian, what's it, Persian Prince?
Punch.
Persian Punch, because it's 15s to 1, and that sounds more like it to me.
Have a look at this lady. She is absolutely beautiful and her hair is superb. You look absolutely sensational.
You're very, very kind.
That is fantastic hair. Have you had that all your life?
Most of my life, yes.
Jennifer Hansen is the newsreader in Melbourne for Channel 10 and she looks absolutely delightful.
Oh, thank you, darling.
What about what is around your neck?
Aren't I lucky? This is a beautiful bijou necklace worth actually $175,000, but it's only for tonight, and like Cinderella, I do have to give it back, and there's a couple of security guys out there keeping a very close eye on this neck.
I love necklaces and I also love tips for the Melbourne Cup.
Tips for the Melbourne Cup. Well, I think given the rain, I'd go for Sky Heights, and with all the Universal Prince saga happening, I think scotch him entirely. Sky Heights.
Shana and Lisa were in Big Brother. I love Big Brother. Shana, how are you?
Very good, thank you.
Any tips for the Melbourne Cup?
I like rain gauge.
Yes.
And something about Westbury. I think it's number 24 or something.
Spirit of.
That's it.
Okay, and what about yours, madame?
Rain gauge, actually. I'll concur with that. Rain gauge is a goer. I also like the red and white colours of the jockey's uniform. That was actually the tip-off for me.
Now look at this, folks. Here's George Denikin. He's not expecting us at all. Hello, mate. How are you?
I'm very well, actually, Mr. Aston.
And we're getting tips for the Melbourne Cup.
Oh, is that right? Well, here are the tips. As practiced, and as you wrote them down about half an hour ago, rain gauge. All right?
Yep.
Now, this is the deep and meaningful one. Celestial Show.
Can I just say one thing? Can I just say one thing? We've got to be off air by 5:30. Well, over here at the Melbourne Museum, I'm at the Tui's new Cup Eve cocktail party. I'm having a great time. I love my cocktail parties. Well, look who we've caught up with here. It's Annette Griffiths. And Annette, if you don't mind me saying, you've got beautiful balloons. Well, look who we've managed to catch up with. Former football superstar, Darren Jumpman. Who do you fancy for the big race? Look at that. Look at that. It's ridiculous.
I reckon if I was that height, I would have kept playing, Mark. Would have been handy to be that height.
Who do you like for the Cup, Darren?
I like May the Horse Be With You.
Why?
No reason. I just like it. Obviously, with Brew last year, and May the Horse Be With You won the same race on Saturday, so hopefully he might do like we did, back to back.
Well, this is Melinda, and she looks absolutely sensational, and that's a beautiful hat.
Thank you very much, Mark. It cost me quite a lot of money and a few weeks to find it as well, so I'm very happy with it, I must say.
Who's your tip for the Melbourne Cup?
Pasture Express, just because I like the name.
Yes, it was a lovely hat, wasn't it? I had a great time last night, and I'm sure everyone that went to the pre-Melbourne Cup functions had a great time as well. And I reckon I saw you at the Sofitel, Sandra, and as usual, you looked an absolute picture.
Flattery will get you absolutely everywhere, Mark Aston. You're a gem, and thank you so much. And if anyone happened to catch that gown last night, I do have to thank Akira Isagawa, because it was a delight to wear and absolutely special. And I might add, the Variety Club Cup Eve ball, rather, at the Sofitel is a very special event. They've raised, I think, the Variety Club, something like $6 million this year for a wonderful charity. And as I mentioned earlier, stay tuned with 10 this year, because we will be crossing to the region in Sydney to catch up with Sammy Lucas and everyone at the Variety Club Melbourne Cup Luncheon at the region in Sydney. That's the biggest Melbourne Cup I better get that right. Melbourne Cup Luncheon outside of Melbourne. Nevertheless, all the partying, the fun and the glamour will continue here in Melbourne. Fabulous Flemington is coming back right after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to Network 10's live and exclusive coverage of Melbourne Cup Day. Just day 2 of a fabulous spring racing carnival. 4 days of wonderful racing here at Flemington. You know, the forecast is a maximum of about 19 degrees and the rain will clear. Slight drizzle this morning, but as I mentioned before, this is Melbourne Cup Day. Nothing is going to stop the partying and the fun. Now, we have an email address for those of you who are enjoying our coverage, would like to give us a few tips, or perhaps let us know what you think of the coverage and perhaps, you know, who your favourite horse is for the day. We can mention the email address is thecup@network10.com.au. Again, the email address here, thecup@network10.com.au. I might add, last year we were absolutely inundated from emails across the globe, so we are so much looking forward to hearing your reports and I guess from all the nooks and crannies where you might be watching and enjoying our telecast. So join us, ring us, email us and let us know what you think. So we're anxious to hear from you. Well, our roving reporter Lynn Talbot is always out and about on the course, catching up with some very special faces and famous faces. As always, she's found another.
Well, as if the Melbourne Cup isn't glamorous enough without the international supermodel and the woman voted Australia's most beautiful, Christy Hinds, joining us here in the Tooheys Marquee. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
To your first Melbourne Cup. I'm surprised.
Yes, it is my first Melbourne Cup. Thanks to Tooheys for bringing me here. I'm so excited to see the race up close, not on TV.
You love your horses, though?
Yes, I do. I grew up with horses. My grandfather had race horses. I've always been involved in racing. My dad still is, so yeah.
And I hear you'll be backing all the greys today.
Well, when there is a grey horse, yes. I used to ride on a grey horse, do my show jumping on, so I have a bit of a soft spot for them.
Well, it's great to have you over here from your base now in New York. How are you spending your time?
Mainly relaxation. I'm doing a bit of work, lots of auditions for movies and stuff at the moment. Trying to relax, yeah, just having fun, being with my family. It's nice to be home.
And tell us about this stunning outfit you're wearing.
This little pearly number is a friend of mine called Richard de Chazal in Brisbane. He's a couturist and he's specially designed this for me today, so I'm very lucky.
And are you impressed with the other fashions that you've seen?
Oh, absolutely. There's some amazing outfits and amazing hats.
That's right. Well, we were very surprised and pleased to hear that you were the Tooheys News special guest internationally. Have a great day, won't you? Hopefully it'll be entrenched in your memory as one of the highlights.
I'm sure it will be, yeah.
Terrific. Okay. Now, Tim, I will continue on my marquee hopping now, all in the name of research, of course.
Now, Tim's a little caught up, and one can only imagine who with, but nevertheless, Lynn, it's me back in front of the camera. I might add Christy Hinds, who has a mortgage on beauty, and I might add a pedigree in horse racing, given her grandfather's connections, and being a Queenslander, I remember her grandfather, Russ Hinds, only so well. Now, home viewers have a chance to win some fabulous prizes, so stay tuned to Network 10. Here are the details.
All you need to do is to vote for your favourite outfit from amongst the 3 designers that we showcase each day. We have a fantastic daily prize package to give away on each of Derby, Cup and Oaks Day. This great prize includes L'Oreal beauty products to the value of $1,000, a Cellar starter case of Xanadu wine and $1,000 cash courtesy of Liberty Financial. Then be watching on Stakes Day when everyone who's entered the competition will go into the draw for our fantastic major prize, a $10,000 gift voucher courtesy of Harvey Norman. So you have 2 chances to win some great prizes. All you have to do is keep tuned to 10 and watch out for our feature designers, and then vote for your favourite outfit on the day. The number to call is 1902 555 613 and follow the voice prompts. Vote A for Katie Davenport, vote B for T Rose, and vote C for D Charmaine. You can ring as many times as you like. This competition is only open to viewers in Australia. So make sure you call and cast your vote to be part of this great competition.
Cup Day. You know, on the Fashion Stakes, I guess it's a day for ladies to make their strongest statement. That lady there simply just enjoying the day and protecting herself from just a tiny little bit of drizzle, but only a little. There we go. Taking photographs. It is a wonderful day. This is the biggest party in Australia, the biggest party of the year, and the only place to be. So if you're watching around the country, welcome to Network 10's live and exclusive coverage of the Melbourne Cup Carnival. It's great that you could join us. Now, racing is the most important thing of the day, and race 3 is upon us. So Peter and Jenny are in the mounting yard. And Peter, have you managed to contain that Jenny Chapman after race 1?
Well, I'm having to hold her down for 2 reasons, Sandra, and that is because she's so excited and because she's about to blow away in the weather conditions down here. It's lovely, isn't it?
Oh, I told you you'd love this when you got down here to the mounting yard.
Absolutely
it's windy
beautiful.
and it's raining and it's not all that pleasant, but it doesn't matter. It's Melbourne Cup Day.
Exactly. It's a real shame, but we can't do anything about it. So let's get on with the business of trying to find a winner. And I thought this one could win the third, the Singapore Challenge, Jen. Life Goes On. This mare is trained by Maxie Lees at Broadmeadows, ridden by Jimmy Cassidy.
She's been placed up to 2,000 metres, so here the step up to the 1,700 metres from her last start does look ideal for her. She's back into restricted mares company here, and she's definitely got a chance, Pete.
Shelley's Magic number 3 came up the tote favourite. Brett Preble, the rider, for Barbara Marshman at Hamilton.
Well, she laid in quite badly at Moonee Valley at her last start. That was at the night meeting there. But she's a horse with ability, and I do think she comes into this race with some claims.
Number 4 is Karpalua. Tony Noonan trains. Karen McAvoy takes the ride.
Best form has been on the wet, so she will appreciate this rain falling now. She's racing very well. I think she's got a chance because of the rain, and she could box seat as well.
And don't these horses look different today than the way they did on Saturday with their coats glinting in the sun? It really is a shame, but as I say, we can't do anything about it. So let's get on with the business of looking through the horses, and we go to number 8, and that is Granita. Chris Nichols is the trainer, and the Gouch is on board.
Peter, I've quite liked her runs. You go back to Wangaratta, it was a good run there, and then she was on the slow track. If the track hasn't taken too much harm yet with this rain around, I think she comes into this race. She didn't have any luck at Bendigo at her last start, so a lightweight chance in the race.
Number 10 is Kinjika. It's to be ridden by Corey Brown. Raymond Goldsmith is the trainer, and ran 4th at Moonee Valley at a night meeting at its last start.
Yes, she's been placed a few times in town, Peter. She gets back, she runs on, and I've given her a trifecta chance in the race.
Miss McGarry was a pretty good winner at Geelong at its last start. Craig Williams, the rider, he just pulled my coat, literally, as I went towards
did he?
him standing outside the jockey's room. Jeff Cousins is the trainer.
Yes, Miss McGarry's been racing very well. She ran second to Keys out of the Wakeful. That form does look pretty good now, doesn't it? So with 52.5, does look some sort of chance in the race.
And one more, number 13, Roadhouse Blues, down near the bottom. Peter Mertens is the rider, and of course he's got a big moment later on in the Melbourne Cup with Big Pat. Greg Seeney trains at Geelong.
Interesting, the blinkers go on for the first time. Now this horse took a while to win a maiden, and did so last start at Cranbourne, Peter, and quite often when these mares win, they can go on with it. I think she's there with some sort of chance, and she is around about 25 to 1, so
well,
quite nice odds there.
Very big odds, and I wouldn't be at all surprised, Jen, if the pattern of finding winners hard continues from Saturday, because with this rain, it's just throwing everything up in the air, and we've got to look for the horses that handle affected ground now.
Yes, thank goodness for Torval. I got off to a good start there, didn't I?
Yeah, you don't need to worry now. What about your trifecta in the third?
I like number 8, Granita to win from, number 2, Life Goes On, and number 3, Shelley's Magic.
Let's have a look at the tote figures with Dan Malicki prior to the Singapore Challenge. And in fact, I think I'll do these because Dan's probably learning his colours. Trick $20.50, Life Goes On $6.10, Shelley's Magic $5.60, Karpalua $7. Big odds about the others, Flotsam at 20 and Granita at 13. Over the page we go to Hidden Honey, which is showing around about the $12 mark. Miss McGarry at $5.80 has tightened up. Ocean Tide has got the blows a little bit out to $10.70. They are the main chances for race 3, the Singapore Mares Challenge. It's over 1,700 metres, and it starts on the Maribyrnong Riverside, a long way away from the river, nice and dry in the betting ring. Tim Gossage.
Only just, Pete. I'm on the only bit of shelter in the whole betting ring, and everyone else has joined me. It is very bleak down here. I can tell you there's a massive go here for number 4, Kapalua. It got out to double-figure odds with the bookmakers. It is almost half that price now in the ring, and is almost sharing favouritism with Shelley's Magic. It is a big go already for number 4, Kapalua. It loves the wet.
It does, and that is not surprising that this horse has been supported. As I said, over at the 1,700, they'll have a run of round about 300 metres to the first turn, and they'll be on that continuous turn from the 1,400 to the 450. There are the selections, and as I said, there are 6 of us, and we've come up with 6 different selections. That just about sums up what the day is going to be like here. So if you are having a bet, the very best of luck. And if you are having a bet on the Tui's new Melbourne Cup later on, here are the tote figures. Look at those pools. $11.7 million in the win pool, $9 million in the place pool. Persian Punch at $16.80 on Super Tab. The favourite is still Sky Heights at $6.60. Big odds Caetano, Give the Slip, Marion Bard. Carpstad Way will continue to drift, one would think. Yippee-I-O's in the betting. Freemason and Curata Storm will drift out. Mr. Prudent, long odds. Pastor Express, big odds. Ethereal, 10.30. Right in it with Hill of Grace, 19.50. In a Flurry at 30. Big Pat, $9.80. The two just below it, also at big odds, down to May the Horse Be With You, $12.30. Prophet's Kiss, 62. Spirit of Westbury, 15. Rain Gauge, $7.90. If that's not an omen tip, I've never seen one. $21.80 for Rum and $22.40 for Celestial Show. That is the Tui's new Melbourne Cup Race 7 this afternoon, due to commence at 10 minutes after 3. Well, we can barely see them, but these runners are at the gates prior to the running of this, the third race on the card. This will be followed by race 4, and it is the Cannon Sprint at 12.40. Now, Jen, I've got some news from your race, the hurdle.
Yes.
The first, there were 3 falls in the first race on the card. All of the riders, Ricky Morn, Eddie Lamb, and the other horse that fell, just didn't write it down.
He's back on track, was one of them.
He's back on track, yes. The rider, Wayne Hillis, they were all okay. Now, 2 of the horses were okay, Blue Star and Classic Tudor. Now, unfortunately, it's bad news for He's Back on Track. Dan mentioned that he had a very heavy fall, and unfortunately he had to be destroyed after that fall, which is terribly sad news for the Connections and for trainer Michael Moroney, who I know had a bit of a soft spot for the horse, and it's a very sad occurrence.
Yes, he's been around a while, 9-year-old, and he's been a terrific horse too. That is sad news.
Okay, well, as they move in, Roy Higgins is joining us for the first time this afternoon, courtesy of Sport 927, and you look nice and dry there on your way down from the birdcage.
Flies are bad, aren't they?
Oh, it's shocking. You got your factor 15 on?
This is disappointing, isn't it? The horses are going into the yard now. I based my thoughts around the top 4. I marked the 4 Kapalua on top, 3 Shelley's Magic, 2 Life Goes On. A bit of value with the top weight here, although he does have a big weight in trick, or she does have a big weight trickle. Gee, she looked good in the yard. So basing my thoughts around 4, 3, 2 and 1, Pete.
And I think you've been watching the weather too much. It's tricked, not trickled.
Oh, well, I'm trickled.
Yeah, we're trickled. Just before you go, quickly, early thoughts on the Cup.
My thoughts last night and this morning were for the dry trackers. Now I'm switching around. I'll base my thoughts around Ethereal, Big Pat, Spirit of Westbury, basically around there somewhere. I just want to see how they've settled up.
We'll check in with you later, Roy.
Okay, mate.
Roy Higgins, courtesy of Sport 927. Let's get the all-important thoughts of Gary Willits before the starter lets them go in the third, the Singapore Challenge. Gary?
Yes, thanks very much, Peter. Well, unfortunately, this rain is still coming down here, and I've just been watching Danny here trying to pick these horses up. It's getting a bit difficult. This cloud's sort of coming down lower. But there's still quite a good crowd down here in front of us. They're hardy souls. But, gee, I like Miss Magari in this. I thought she's been racing very well. Won very well at Geelong. Was well ridden by Damien Oliver. And the start before that at Cranbourne, she was narrowly beaten by Keys. And Keys came out here and won on the Wakeful Stakes.
3 1/4 hours away from the Tui's new Melbourne Cup. Still about 3 out of line here. It is, visibility from my point of view is getting much more difficult now. Some of the sections of the track are increasingly harder to see as the day wears on.
Yes, because the picture, the good picture we're seeing on Channel 10, you've got to see it live, Dan.
Far murkier, I assure you. We can't even see the outline of the city from here.
It's disappeared.
Which is only a couple of kilometres away. Now check out Bees and Rose of Georgia going into the line. They'll be the last 2 to go in. A very open race. It's over 1,700.
Oops. One just hit the starting stalls there as it was going in.
Check out Bees is ready now, so they're set to go. At the 1,700 start. Stand up well and they're racing. And jumping out pretty well was the well-backed Kapalua. Brief Illusion, the bolter of the field, is on the inside and got away well. Handy also was tricked in the early part. Safety Princess was up there as well. Also Rose of Georgia, and wider out was Hidden Honey. Safety Princess is tucked just in behind them from Checkout Bees. Roadhouse Blue is about midfield over on the rails when they settled from Kinjaika and Ocean Tide. It drifts back a little bit though. It's got 3 or 4 behind it, including Life Goes Ono. As they head to the back of the track, they've got about 1,200 metres to travel, and they're starting to spread out a little bit. as they head towards the 1,000 now. Flotsam's gone back to the tail of the field, and as they go down towards the 1,000-metre mark now, Hidden Honey's racing up to the lead. Goes a half a length in front, Brief Illusion second. 2 lengths away, Tricked and Kapalua fourth on the inside, Shelley's Magic wider, and then Rose of Georgia in the yellow colours with the blue armbands. A length away, Miss Magari the grey, Sophie Princess on the inside with the orange colours with the black cap and Maltese cross. Ridden up a little bit was Ocean Tide, then Roadhouse Blues on the fence. Kinjika in the middle, Life Goes On, must be out 4 deep. 2 lengths away, Flotsam, Check Our Bees picking up the bit, and a length and a half away then too at the tail of the field, Grenada, as they round the turn in very murky conditions. 500 left to travel. Hidden Honey led, but it shifted away from the rails. Then in second spot at the moment was Trick, but it's under pressure, and they were followed by Brief Illusion. Life Goes On to the outside, and further out Check Our Bees and Flotsam. It's Hidden Honey though. 200 to go, 2 in front. Life Goes On finishing well. Flotsam's made up good ground. Life Goes On goes up to hit the lead from Hidden Honey. Flotsam continuing to make ground, but Life Goes On went to the lead with 100 left to go, and it's Life Goes On getting clear of Flotsam getting to second, and Life Goes On won it. Flotsam's run second, and third placing to Hidden Honey, which fought on pretty well. Next home was Check Our Bees, who made ground from Kapalua, Miss Magari, Grenada, then Kinjika, Tricked, Ocean Tide, Roadhouse Blues, Brief Illusion, Rose of Georgia, Sophie Princess and Shelley's Magic, and that was a tough one to call.
I'll say, I was watching the screen here, and the clouds come down that much. It would have been tough, Dan, but Life Goes On, ridden by Jim Cassidy, worked the line very well and won well. Flotsam won well. Peter Donegan, very hard to watch from Danny's point of view up here.
Oh, he did a magnificent job, as he always does, Gary. Let's pick these horses up. There is the winner, Life Goes On.
Yep.
In second placing was Flotsam, and that is the horse over there. And in third spot in the race was the horse that dashed away coming around the turn, and that was Hidden Honey.
Yeah.
So let's pick them up. And this horse has really finished off its race really well, Gary.
Very good, yes. I thought Hidden Honey at this stage was going to, hold it, Peter.
Yeah.
But then Life Goes On really knuckled down and got home very well here, and Flotsam right on the outside here. It's worked home very well. But Jim Cassidy's just got on that good part of the track, most probably where no horse has raced.
Is that where they're going to be coming for the rest of the day, do you think, Gaz?
Yeah, I would think so. Like, though the boys will be looking for that better part of the track where the horses haven't been, and we noticed the 2-year-old came up there.
And it sat 3 and 4 wide most of the way there too, Peter, and the course it's got now was pretty much the distance away from the fence it was all the way around.
Yeah, well, we're going to have a look and just see what sort of course these horses plotted. There's Life Goes On. That is Flotsam in the gold cap, and there is Hidden Honey.
Yeah, it's very interesting, Peter, that Greg Childs, now he's gone up about the 1,000. He's hit the front on Hidden Honey, and he's made no attempt to go to the fence, and he stayed out. Those boys most probably would have walked that track, and they've made up their mind that's most probably the best part of the track, where no horse has sort of been. And then Jim Cassidy's come out, as Dan said, he hasn't worried sitting 3 and 4 wide. He's been happy to stay there. And then Floatsam's come down the outside of the pair of them.
Might have to put you around at about the 1,400 metre mark, Pete, because I dead set tell you, I couldn't see them from the 1,400 to about the 800.
We're going to need to do what they do with the Grand National over in England.
I think you're right.
2 callers.
Well, Maxie Lees is just joining us down here in the wet. Stay out of the wet, Maxie. Gee, that was a good performance. She really finished off her race very strongly.
Yeah, she did. Well, she was well placed in a race like that because she did run 4 for 5th the other day to Identify in a race at Gosford and only got beat 3.5 lengths. So, but she wasn't qualified. I thought she was qualified, and I had to give her a run on the way down, a runner at Canberra.
Oh, right,
On the way down, so she would have had the 6 runs.
What about when all the rain came this morning and overnight?
Well, I was glad it did rain because she's a big mare and she jars up a bit on hard tracks, and I thought that helped her a bit too.
Well, everyone else here is saying it's not a very nice Melbourne Cup day, but I'm sure you don't agree.
I think it's great.
I'm sure you do. Well done, Maxie.
Thanks very much.
Max Lee's the winning trainer there with Life Goes On, $6.40, and thank goodness, finally, I found the winner's circle. Didn't take long until the 3rd race on Melbourne Cup Day. As we watch Life Goes On straight to the line, we will take a break.